Tyler, do you want to start us off again?
Yeah, I'll start us off. Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of Green Dreamers. I'm here with Nate, and this week we're starting a new series that we're trying to do on card quality in Game of Thrones. But this week we're going to look at plots, and next week we're going to take a look at the draw deck.
Yeah, so card quality, we're going to see what makes some cards better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's consistency, maybe it's wide range of usage, but that's going to be the overall theme of today and probably next week. So we're going to do some comparison. Let's just jump into the plots. When you're building your plot deck, you have to consider different things like the plots you want to open with.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, so we thought up a couple categories to kind of organize our thoughts on the different plots that are needed in a plot deck. The categories being openers, resources, reset, and then flavor. So we'll start with the openers. The openers we kind of wanted to talk about were Noble Cause, Calm Over Westeros, Summer Harvest. What were the other openers, Nate? Time of Plenty.
Time of Plenty. I've seen some Late Summer Feast.
Late Summer Feast, Trading with the Pentoshi. All plots that are, I would say, very common openers.
I would say Noble Cause. Did you say Noble Cause?
Yeah, I said Noble Cause.
Okay, yeah. These are usually what you see. People open up with these plots.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, obviously, are of higher card quality.
Right.
And I think off the, did you say Calm Over Westeros?
Yeah, I said Calm.
Okay, Calm. Let's take a look at Calm. So
okay.
What makes Calm a really good opener? It's got good income. Initiative's pretty high, 3. That's really good. That's usually going to win you initiative, plot 1. And it's got the summer trait.
So we can't get naveled.
Right. So that's really good. So that, I would say, puts it above a card like Noble Cause.
Right.
Because Noble Cause has 0 initiative. It's more conditional and it can be naveled.
Right. We keep saying navel, but I don't think there's many naval decks. But I think the reason that there's no naval decks is that the cards that are good openers are...
They've got summer trait.
Yeah, there's really good summer openers, like Calm Over Westeros and Summer Harvest.
Time of Plenty.
Time of Plenty. People aren't going to open naval because of this.
It's too risky to open naval. And these are, just common openers. So then we'll take a look at, Time of Plenty. That's got another summer.
Yeah, Time of Plenty is another 6 gold, too.
That's high economy.
Yep, 7 reserve. However, only 1 initiative, and it allows both players to draw an extra card, which has its downsides for sure.
Yeah, drawing cards I think is definitely worse than getting gold because the cards will help them down the road. The gold is kind of immediate. Sometimes they don't spend it.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely not great. So I guess that segues into the highest card quality opener, I'd say, is probably Summer Harvest.
Right.
You look at all the good things that we just talked about, like the summer trait, high gold, and this has all of it and more. 4 initiative on that first plot, you're definitely going to win.
Right. I think definitely when talking about what makes the Summer Harvest the most efficient opener out of all of the options that we have is the fact that you're always going to win initiative that first round. And so you'll always be able to make yourself go second and be able to decide how you want to take the game, maybe go first if you have an Intimidate. It gives you a lot of options, as well as the income is also directly influenced to how your opponent is playing the game. So it's reactive. So if your opponent opens a big money plot, you also get big money. If your opponent opens, a low money plot, you also get low money, but you just get a little bit more than them still, and you still win initiative.
If we compare this plot to the other 5 openers we mentioned, I think this wins. If your opponent flips Time of Plenty, you come out ahead. If your opponent flips Trading, you've got the better opener. Any one of the other openers compared to Summer Harvest, I think they just lose out.
You always just end up on top. There's a lot of times where I watch different games on YouTube that people upload from Store Championships or whatever, and I see what the people choose as their openers, and I always think, how would my Summer Harvest do against this?
Yeah.
And it's always, I would love it. I'm winning initiative, I'll get 5, 6, 7, 8 gold, There's not really a lot of plots that your opponent can play to punish you. Really, the only one is Varus's Riddle, and even then, how often are people opening Varus's Riddle? Not that often, and that's pretty much worst case scenario.
Yeah. That has to be... They have to pretty much know you're going to run Summer Harvest and open it.
Right. And even then, they have to go first, too, so you'll still get to go second.
Get to go second.
And that's, like, the worst case scenario. Yeah. And, that's not bad at all. No. Whereas with, some plots, trading, worst case scenario is a naval, and that's terrible.
That's the worst thing in the world. That is
the worst case. It's all about the mitigation of the worst case scenario. All right, but talking about trading, that'll segue us nice into talking about resource plots.
Nice.
And this is where trading this is the category where it really excels, in that it's a really good opener, as well as providing you a huge burst of income in the mid or late game to get out whatever cards you want. Another plot that's comparable is something like Calling the Banners. However, trading with the Bentoshi is a lot less conditional than Calling with the Banners, and you're trading that conditionality for the 6 initiative, which is definitely very good. And so when you're choosing which plot is best for your deck, we can sit here and say trading's the best plot, but when you're choosing it best for your deck, you definitely need to take into account how is that 6 initiative worth it for not being able to always have a 10 gold plot, or in your deck, is there more situations where that 10 gold is going to be more useful than the 6 initiative?
Yeah. So I think you've said pretty much exactly what I was thinking. I think exactly word for word what I was thinking. Trading with the Bentoshi is of much higher quality than Calling the Banners.
It's just got more situations you can use it in.
And this is my favorite thing. Trading with Bentoshi has that little text, plot deck limit 1.
Yeah.
They don't put that on bad cards.
Why would they put that on a bad card?
They don't need to put that on a bad card. So you automatically know this isn't a bad card.
Right.
Trading with Bentoshi is not a bad card.
Yeah. Calling the Banners is not plot deck limit 1.
That's not plot deck limit 1?
No. Trading is. So trading is just a super efficient card. It does its job really well.
Economy is king right now. I think everyone can use 10 gold. Good after a Valor, good before a Valor.
Yeah.
Helps your opponent put out more cards, and maybe you can Valor. And speaking of Valor,
yeah, that'll segue us nice into the reset portion, which really should just be called the Valor Morghulis portion of the plot deck, because this is, without a doubt, the most efficient reset that you can run in your deck. And if you want to hear more about why we think that, then you should check out our video on Valor Morghulis. We'll probably link that in the description.
Nice.
Yeah.
So resets are very important. Actually, before we get too much further, we totally skipped out on the other resources.
Oh, that's right. Card advantage.
I saw Valor, and I wanted to talk about Valor.
We'll come back to Valor. Card advantage. All right, the other kind of resource plots are card advantage. And these are plots like the 2 really big ones are Building Orders and Counting Coppers. And then Summons is kind of one. Here to Serve is kind of one. What else is good card advantage, Nate?
You could maybe say Close Call card advantage.
Yeah, I think the maybes are Time of Plenty, Close Call, maybe Heads on Spikes. But when you're talking about what is the plot that's going to give me the most card advantage, I think the 2 that you're really trying to talk about are Building Orders and Counting Coppers.
That's a great comparison. So both are good. Both have merit.
Both have their uses.
Yes, but I think Counting Coppers is of a higher quality than Building Orders. These are both resource plots. They're kind of niche. You can't use them particularly at any time.
Yeah.
You have to really plan around the card's effect, because it's not an economy plot. You really have to utilize the card.
I get what you're saying. And definitely, we can talk about the trade-offs. What makes us say specifically Counting Coppers is better? We can look at you're trading off with building orders. You get 2 more gold. However, you have 2 less initiative. Counting Coppers, the fact that you're drawing 3 cards is also helped by the fact that the reserve is so high. A big benefit to Counting Coppers is being able to sit on such a large hand for a turn, really giving you a lot of more options for whatever you can play next turn.
The 2 gold isn't so much of a downside now because you have a higher reserve. You don't have to play as many cards. So when you compare that to the 7 reserve of building orders, I mean, one of those numbers is clearly larger than the other. Yeah. And I feel like building orders is definitely more limited, right? I mean,
its effect, yeah.
You're getting 1 card. Counting Coppers, you're getting 3. I mean,
you're comparing. What are you grabbing with building orders? You're gonna either grab a card like a bomb location,
right,
or you're going to grab an attachment.
Yes.
And the attachment's typically going to be like a Craven, a Milk. And so, is specifically digging for those cards worth more than just being able to draw 3 cards from your deck, including the difference in stats of the plot? And that's really what you have to look at when you are choosing on what plot is best for your deck.
Because you want to include good quality cards.
Right.
You want all of your plots to be of higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're thinking about resource plots and you're thinking about building orders or Counting Coppers, I would say Counting Coppers.
Counting Coppers is just it's also a plot. I guess they both reduce variance because they both search your deck. I guess, like, I don't know. Building orders has its uses, but if you're running a deck that doesn't have bomb locations, or a deck that's not running good attachments, or a deck that's only running one of those things, then maybe you should consider Counting Coppers because you'll be able to draw bomb characters. You'll be able to draw chuds if you need chuds, draw saves if you need saves, events.
The worst thing is when you're top decking. We all know what that's like. Mm-hmm. It's awful because you're really just hoping you don't get screwed by variance.
That's true.
You're hoping that you don't, I don't know, draw locations or dead characters. So when you have the option to play Counting Coppers and maybe accelerate that stagnation you're stuck in, I think that's pretty beneficial.
Right. Okay, yeah. Counting Coppers has a lot of uses. It's more efficient. I think it's just more efficient in a lot more decks than building orders.
Yeah.
There's not very many decks that rely on bomb locations or attachments. All right. Well, that finishes up Resource. Wait, let's go back to Valor.
The reset, Valor. So a lot of people, they don't like Valor.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why. Valor is a hard card to play.
It's very complicated.
Yes, it's got a higher skill cap.
Right, for sure.
And playing it incorrectly can cost you the game. So it's not a plot you can play at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important, though, that you have this in your plot deck. You should always have a reset, but if you want to go far in a tournament, which I think that's what we're always trying to do on these videos, we just talk about good cards and good quality cards. Valor is a good quality card because of all the different things it can do for one card. You don't have to run cards like Put to the Sword or Tears of List, right?
Yep. You don't have to run your Miri, your Jack and a Guard. You don't have to run cards like that.
I feel like I could always talk about Valor. You guys should just check out our Valor video. But you should have a reset, and that reset should be Valor.
Right.
And then the last category of plots is the flavor.
Mm-hmm. And the flavor plots are all kind of different. These are the kind of plots that you put into your plot deck that tailor specifically to your deck. So you could go for like a passive power lineup, include Winter Festivals and Heads on Spikes and Feast for Crows. Or you could choose more aggressive plots like March to the Wall, First Snow of Winter. Or you could choose, or you could be running winter and run more winter plots like Wraiths and Famine. Or you could be summer and be running Time of Plenty, Summer Heart. Like, this is where the majority of the options are. This is where it's a lot.
It's very deck specific,
right.
This area. And so when you're building a plot deck, you want to have a balance of all of these things. So when we're looking at these flavor plots, what were some of the comparisons we were doing?
We can talk about. Do you want to talk about like passive power ones?
Yeah. Winter Festival.
We can compare those to something like maybe you want to go for like a more aggressive, like a passive deck versus like an aggressive deck.
Okay, that's fair.
Like
So if you're doing like a Bara Painted Table Iron Throne deck, you want to run plots like Winter Festival, Feast for Crows,
or
Heads on Spikes.
Or like in a Night's Watch deck that's trying to do the wall. Winter Festival and Feast for Crows are pretty good in that.
So then that's very different to a more aggressive deck that would be running First Snow of Winter, maybe March to the Wall. These are flavor plots that you would not include in every deck, but obviously a deck that makes use out of those cards. That's where the flavor comes in, you know?
Yeah. So so this is an area where it's a lot harder to talk about like card quality and specifically what's better than anything else. But Nate, you want to talk about March to the Wall and First Snow? Because, you know, we've been pretty hyped on the March to the Wall First Snow train.
It's just so good, Tyler.
Yeah, we think it's a super efficient plots to include. It's basically his First Snow Winter is super efficient right now at being able to put your opponent into just really bad board positions. And the game's kind of at a state right now where if you get yourself into a favorable board position compared to your opponent's unfavorable board position, it's kind of hard for you to lose.
You definitely want to be ahead. You don't want to be behind. First Snow of Winter. I mean, that sounds obvious,
that makes
but
a lot
whatever.
More sense than I said.
Like, you don't be behind.
Right.
First Snow of Winter is a good way to keep you from getting snowballed. Like, your opponent has a lot of maybe low-cost characters, but you don't want to necessarily Valor. So, First Snow of Winter is a great way to thin the board and put them in the range of
a March to the Wall, which is just builds on the First Snow of Winter. The First Snow of Winter really punishes your opponent for not building up a strong enough board presence. And I feel like this is pretty meta-dependent right now because, you know, a lot of times at all of these store championships that we've been to, Nate and I both went to 4 store championships. There's just so many games where nobody's playing around First Snow of Winter. No one is playing around First Snow of Winter. And I'm almost hesitant to even make this video and say it because then maybe people will play around First Snow of Winter, but not that many people watch our videos.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
It's not gonna matter.
It's not gonna matter. People just still won't play First Snow of Winter. You guys should play First Snow of Winter. It's a good card. It really hurts Night's Watch decks.
It crushes Night's Watch decks.
It's weird how many complaints there are about Night's Watch, and it's just like run First Snow of Winter.
Right. Like, this is why. Alright, on the topic of card quality, this is why First Snow of Winter is so good. If you include this card in your plot deck, you will beat Night's Watch.
Pretty much. It's not that hard.
Like, is that worth one plot slot? Just turning maybe a 50-50 matchup into like a 75-25?
Ooh, and it's really good against Stark, that winter.
It's great against Stark.
Yeah. They've got a lot of low-cost characters. So this and March to the Wall, very aggressive.
It's very great against Bara. Bara has so many 3-cost characters.
On card quality, March to the Wall is also really good because sometimes you can just win a game if your opponent just has a terrible setup.
Yes.
You can just win that game right then and there, and there's something to be said about that.
Right, know? That's amazing. Not only does that, but it also has other uses. It has 8 initiative, so maybe you're on plot 7 and you really need to go first because you're at 14 power. Boom, there's your 8 initiative plot. That also could have punished an opponent's 1 character opening. Also, you can discard your own characters. Like, Targ does this a lot. March your own Viserys. Ditch an attachment, play another Viserys. Tyrell, march your Hobber. Play another Hobber, go get a second Marjorie.
It's perfect. It's got a lot of options, and that's what you want. You want options. It can do a lot with just 1 card, and that's some good card quality right there. And I just realized First Snow of Winter, Tyler, that's plot deck limit 1, right?
That's plot deck limit 1. You cannot run 2 First Snow of Winters.
You cannot run 2 First Snow. And
because, let's be honest. If you could run 2 First Snow of Winters, that would be broken, right?
Well, they don't put this on bad cards,
right.
Tyler.
They have to put it on good cards.
Right. So,
5 initiative too, Nate.
5 initiative's pretty good. And
3 income's not even that bad.
Winter is pretty good. I think this is why Lannister's really good, because they make the best use out of First Snow of Winter. You guys should just run First Snow of Winter.
Yeah.
And if your deck is really crippled by First Snow of Winter, I think you should pick a different deck. If you want to go far in a tournament, right?
Right.
If you want to have fun, I don't discourage people having fun, but I think
Play whatever deck you want.
let's be serious. If you want to win, if you want to go far in a tournament,
Your deck has to be prepared for First Snow of Winter because somebody else is going to run it.
yes.
You know.
I think that's fair. You
Yeah.
can say you have to at least be like able to withstand it. If your deck
Right.
is not able to withstand it, just don't expect to win the tournament.
And
I
then
think that's
this
fair.
is the question: is it more efficient to build your deck to use First Snow of Winter or to protect against First Snow of Winter? And I would argue maybe it's just more efficient to be on the proactive side, because I feel like that gives you a greater advantage in more matchups, and so you'll win more often versus a deck that's trying to go on the reactive side to the First Snow of Winter.
I think that's true in most cases. If you are running a deck like Passive Power Gain, you would take the route of...
You would not run First Snow of
You would
Winter
not...
in your
yeah,
wall
you,
deck.
You wouldn't run that. You would do like Feast for Crows. That's also Plot Deck Limit 1.
Also only Plot Deck Limit 1.
These are good cards. They don't put those on bad cards.
Oh, well, it's on there on a couple bad cards. Are they? I don't-
Show me a bad card that has Plot Deck Limit 1.
Let's look for one real quick. Forgotten Plans.
Forgotten Plans. That card maybe not great right now, but
Could be good later. I will say that. What's another one? Naval's not good right now. These are kind of meta cards. Ranger's Cash. That one's not very good.
that's fun. It's a fun card.
That's a fun card.
The game doesn't want you to have too much fun.
Right.
Okay? It has to limit the amount of fun you can have.
To exactly one plot.
Yes.
You can't have 2 plots worth of fun.
And they don't want it to drag on for too long, so there's only Plot Deck Limit 1
long
for
winter.
a long winter. Yeah.
You can't have like a 6 plot claim 2 winter plots. That'd be stupid. Anything else you want to say about plots, Nate?
Card quality. The most important thing about a plot deck is you have access to it at all times. So building your plot deck is super important. You want to have a good balance of openers. You want to have resource plots, either economy or just card advantage.
Right.
You want to have your reset. We always recommend Valor. And then you want to have the flavor, kind of what your deck's going for. We're going to be talking about decks next week. So... Is there anything you want to add to this?
I would just mention one last thing. When you're considering plots for your plot deck, I think one thing that's very important to look at is choosing plots that are applicable in more than one situation. Like we talked about with the March to the Wall. You can punish those one character setups. You can win initiative. You can punish those low board count characters. You never want to begin the round in the plot phase, look at your plots and say, I can't play anything. I don't know what to play. You should always look at your plots and be like, oh, this board state, let me get this plot. I want to do this, I got this plot.
Oh, you know what I just thought of?
What'd you think of?
It's really important to be able to predict your opponent's plots.
Ooh,
because
we didn't even talk about that.
we didn't talk about this. But this is important to talk about.
Yeah.
So you need to always be thinking, what is my opponent going to play and how should I react to that?
Right, yeah.
And that kind of dictates what plot you're going to pick that round.
Being able to decide if you want to throw down a high initiative plot. Or maybe they're going to play a low initiative plot, so you just throw out a medium initiative.
So it's good to have more options.
Yeah.
When you're building your plot deck, like you said, you want to have plots that you can use in different situations because you want more options, especially when you are predicting and reacting to what your opponent's going to play. The options are important there. I'm glad I remembered that. I would feel really bad if I didn't talk about.
Yeah, a big part of this game's skill is being able to play your plots, build your plot deck right.
Yeah. And if you're not doing that right, no way. If you're not doing that, you should start doing that.
Right.
So I think we're gonna wrap up. If you guys have any questions about anything we talked about today,
leave a comment.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of feedback on these episodes. If you guys have anything to say,
well, I mean, clearly we're doing so well. There's no criticism. There's no advice.
They're flawless. The production quality is 100%.
Dude, I envy our listeners, Tyler. The treat they're about to receive.
All right. Come back next week, guys. We'll talk about characters, locations, events, attachments. What makes them good? What makes them mediocre? What makes good decks good? But thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and
keep dreaming green. Keep dreaming those green
Stop.
dreams.